Hey everybody, pulled the tank on the Ranger so I can get my fuel system set up. Figured out why it smelled like gas and why you couldn't fill it up all the way. And also why the sending unit didn't work. So you're gonna get all that straightened out. I think I'm just gonna pull the pump off of it and make sure both pickups go, well, make sure the pickup goes to the bottom and it's got a clean sock on it, clean the tank out, and I will just run that sending unit. It should pick up enough fuel. If not, I'll have to put a pump in line, but we'll see. And I figured out why it was leaking fuel everywhere. Yeah, it rotted right off. That almost rotted off that side too. Someone must have replaced it already because I'm pretty sure Ford doesn't use made in China parts. I might be wrong, but it looks like an Amazon special. So I'm just going to take and I'm going to extend this where the old fuel pump was. I'm going to extend it down just to the end of here. Not going to put the sock on it, just going to leave it stick down a little ways. Probably about an inch below this. I'll leave the line stick down. So it'll suck off there, and then I'm going to put a good fuel filter in line before the fuel filter on the engine, so I can do away with all the wiring except for the sending unit. And I did find out why the sending unit wasn't working. Let's see if you can see it. Probably not. There's a crack, hairline crack right along here, and it was full gas, so I need to order a new float. I could solder it up, but they're $5, so I'll just order a new float so then my sending unit will work. And I'll just use the regular fuel lines from the Ranger up to the point in the frame where I'll have a fuel filter, and then from that point where the Ranger has its normal fuel filter, then I'll run rubber line fuel hose up to the engine. So that's what I'll do for the fuel system. I got to order that, and then I got to get some line. There was a big crack in that, that's why that didn't work. So I ordered one from Amazon. It's a plastic one. So now I pulled the fuel pump off, so I'm just going to take a piece of hose. Way overkill. I got a spool just because it seems like I'm always using it for something. So I'm going to take and cut a piece that goes from here to 3/4 of an inch below here and just wire it on something somehow, attach it to here, and then my sending unit will be all done. I'll have a return and a feed, and then I'll throw it in the tank. I got this from Amazon. It looks a little shorter than that cheap Chinese one, but we'll see if it fits. So that's where I'm at now. I'm going to throw the tank back together. So there's how I did that. I just remembered there was extra hose clamps from the fuel pump. Cut a little notch in the bottom so to make sure it doesn't suction to the bottom and it'll pick up fuel. And now I'm just going to take and put this back together, slap that lock ring on there, and then put the filler neck on, put it up inside of under the truck. So you can kind of see the float there a little bit, the white spot there, and you can see the fuel line going down, and then that's the return line right there. That little orange piece with the green clip, that's the return line. So the tank's all ready to go back in. I just crawled under there and started poking around a little bit. I have never seen a brake line plug itself off before. It rusted and plugged itself right off. Never seen that before. That's crazy. So wondering why I didn't have any fluid in my rear wheel cylinders. Well, that's why. Alright guys, let's see if we can get something done here. Went and picked up some brake line. I got some fittings. So I'm going to run the brake line behind the fuel tank before I put the fuel tank in. That's what kind of the holdup was a little bit. The brake lines where it goes through the shock mount down under there was all corroded all the way through, rusted shut. So that's why I didn't have any back brakes. So I'm gonna take and I'm gonna run from the ABS block that's just almost right below the firewall, a little bit forward of it, run a new line that goes all the way back up to over the axle. So I got a double flare kit, so I'll be just a cheapy Harbor Freight double flare kit. So I'll be flaring that and making that line. That's about 10 foot long. So I'll make that, then I'll get up in there and show you what I got going on before I throw the tank up in there. So I figured I'd just show you this while I was in here. Put a new brake line, you can see it on the top there, all the way from the rear axle all the way up to the ABS block. So now I can throw the tank in here. I lubed up all the fittings and everything. So I'm just gonna use the factory fittings that plug onto the tank for the fuel lines, and then where they go up, they come out right there. I'll take the fuel filter off and I'll just put a barb fitting in there and see how that works. If it don't work, I can always drop it and do something different, but there's no reason it shouldn't. So I'm gonna throw the tank up in here now. So the hardest part is getting this between the frame. If you go up to the frame, put this through first, and it'll go through there. Then you gotta twist and bend the tank around and stuff. It's all kinds of fun. I'll show you. All right, there's the back straps all on. Heat shielding's on. Everything's all bolted in, plugged in. Everything's all good for the fuel tank. So this will probably be the end of this video. It's kind of be a short video. And the next part of the video, we'll be putting the rest of that adapter on there. So video installation of that adapter. Try to anyway. And after that, we'll plug the engine transmission back in, start hooking stuff back up. Have a great day.